for me, I always knew I wanted to be able to work from wherever in the world from a laptop. I knew that I needed to do that. I needed people to think of me as a specialist in what I do. And I thought, okay, well, how do I start? I know now it's a lot more common for people to maybe share their thoughts and videos and things online. But I was like, how do I get out there and let people know what I do? So the book was and promoting the book was my excuse to let people know I know some stuff about social media. I know what I'm talking about. I've got advice. So what started happening with the book, and I've always believed, I suppose this is like for most businesses, that good results breed more good results. So the book gave me the chance to work on some smaller businesses, some friends' businesses on the side. I then got some good results for them, which then helped me sell in to slightly larger businesses. What I never would have realized is the person who read my book, who was at Google, I say Google? Yeah, they were at Google. They then moved to Facebook. Facebook had a particular challenge, and less than I think it was 2.5 months after I started Picaroons. And this is a bit of a mixed story of, I got off a train having come back from Morocco as COVID was about to start. I'd left my laptop and my GoPro and my hard drive with the footage from the first podcast I did with my dad on the train, was at one of my lowest points. And then I got a message on LinkedIn from a VP at Facebook saying, hey, I've got your book in front of me. Can you come in for a chat? So I assumed I was getting sued. I was like, I've obviously done something here. I'm about to be in trouble. And they just said, look, we read your book when I was at Google. So at Google, someone had been using it for about a year, but never told me. I didn't know this. They then moved to Facebook, who had a particular challenge. They then said, we want you to come in and write a strategy for us. And I ended up, within 2 or 3 months of starting Picaroons, getting Facebook as a client, completely out of like a side reason. So that's why the outcome of the book was to make people know what I did and give me an excuse and get the ball rolling. But I never would have thought that would have brought in Facebook as a client for me, which then that meant that when I was reaching out to people and saying, here's Picaroons, here's some of our experience, I could say, well, we're working with Facebook. And I never wanted us to have a lot of big brands. We work with Facebook, and we're currently working with Etsy on some trend reports for them. But apart from those two, we don't have any big national brands in our portfolio who we're working with. All of my creatives are from all different agencies and backgrounds. So we've all got experience of working across a range of probably all the world's largest brands, I would say. But as actual Picaroons clients, we've just got those two. But the book got me Facebook, which got me the other clients we've got. So I kind of view the book as no, directly, the book did not grow and get Picaroons out there. But as part of the wider ecosystem of allowing me to share my expertise, getting me the opportunity with Facebook, like it's kind of, the book is the beginning thing that has like started that process, if that makes sense. And that's why I'm so big on trying to get people to make things. Like you for this podcast, if someone's going to start a webinar, if someone's going to do a yearly barbecue, even things as small as that, I'm so big on making things and putting something out there that are related to your expertise or an event, because I think a lot of the time we try and say, what's that actually going to get me? Instead of going, I'm going to put that out there and know that it's going to bring in some amazing opportunities. I think we're so fixed on who exactly is this going to bring opportunities in with? For you now, I could share this podcast once I've been on there. I could have someone who sees this, goes to your profile, checks you out, has no interest in listening to the podcast episode because they have no interest in what I have to say. They have no interest in being on your podcast or listening to any in the future because they read books, but they just see something on your profile and they go, that could be that's exactly what I need right now. And it's those kind of seemingly random opportunities that I believe come from doing certain marketing activities and just putting yourself out there. And it doesn't even have to be in the largest way.
Yeah. Just solving someone's problem, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got so many questions from that, but I wanted to just go back to the actual book itself. At what point did you decide to write the book, and how did you go about writing the book? Did you do it yourself, or did you involve a publishing agent? How did you go about doing it?
So during my mid-20s, when I was working at all those agencies, I had a lot of injuries. So I had a knee operation go wrong, which led to 7 more knee operations. I'd also got cancer in my arm. And at that point, as much as the book, yes, was a business thing, it was also like a bit of a place to put my energy. So where I said to you, my plan was always to work remotely. And when I first started working in London, I thought I'd have enough skills to do that within 2 years. But all the injuries kept me away from sports and things I like doing. And it was about a 7-year period of all those different operations. So during that, I was like, I want to come out of this and not go back to just living, but I want to go, my life's significantly better than it was before. So every time I'd feel sad and all these negative news, I put that energy into making something. I knew it had to be a resource. So originally my book was a guide, and I'm a big advocate of just test and learn. So I thought this guide, do you know the Body Coach?
Yeah.
Joe Wick. So he has like a fitness guide. So I thought, okay, I'll make something similar, but it'll be a social media guide. And I spent 2 or 3 years on it. It was really high quality in my mind. And then I tested it out on 10 different people with different businesses, different experiences, and they all didn't get it. They all like, too complicated, there's too much here, I don't get it. So then, like, some of my many good ideas came in the pub with a friend who tested it, and me and him were going through it, and it was like, we were kind of arguing about what was good in it and what wasn't. And then we realized that one specific section, which is where I shared a load of tactics, that was actually really valuable. So then I stripped that out and turned that into the book. So at one point it was a guide. That didn't work, and then it became the book. Then I tested the concept of the book on, again, 10 different people. And again, some of them worked in big agencies, some had their own businesses, some had no knowledge. I always say to people that I made it so simple that your nan can understand it, and that I can prove because my nan was someone I tested it on. So then once I became clear that I had something, so I wrote it all. I had others help me refine the exact wording, but that was based on audience testing as opposed to a copywriter or a proofreader. It was, how is this usable by the audience? What's confusing? What's not? And then I went down the routes of looking at publishing, and I just realized that my reason for doing it, like I said, it wasn't to become famous. It wasn't to be on any charts. It wasn't for any reason other than I need a resource to get me some clients, and I don't need loads and loads of clients. So I went down the choice of self-publishing because I believe that for actual publishing, you have to pay an agent. The agent will then get you in, and then you're responsible to others. I didn't want to be told, I've got to promote it this way, I've got to do it that way. I liked that it was kind of my thing to promote. And then, I just sort of organically, I what's the saying of I walked the talk. So my book is about social media ideas. So I used my book to promote my book, and I just set up a social media page. I knew that I wanted to go freelance eventually, and that by being a business name, that would make it sound better. So the social media page I set up, instead of just being James Berg, the social media page was called Picaroons. And that was sort of the birth of Picaroons, which now when I think back to it, probably made no sense, because here's a book by James Berg. Here is Picaroons talking about James Berg's book. But at that point, Picaroons wasn't a agency. It wasn't anything. It was just the name of the social handle that I would promote the book through.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, what a journey that was. And I love the testing of the market as well, because I think it was Daniel Precio I was listening to the other week, and he was talking about, you got to make something and then put it out there and see what comes back before you go full on it.
Sounds true.
And
so you must have found the same of just like, how many ideas could you have done? How many things could you have done that you think is great, and you've got an idea of the target audience, but then when you actually go test it with people, you go, all right, that's not quite what I thought. But then it's that key, I suppose, of Doesn't mean you give up on it. It means you refine it, you tweak it when you know it could be something. Where's that core idea? And then testing just to get the execution right.
Yeah. Just trying to find where that problem is, what people actually want.
Yeah.
What want solving, essentially.